Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on Watchbox Reviews or our website. Email tmosso at thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing the 2019 Oris Big Crown ProPilot X, 44.7 millimeters in titanium. The watch is 13 millimeters thick. There are two ways to measure this watch across the wrist. The first is the actual lug-to-lug dimension, which is 51.7 millimeters, and if you include the solid end links of the bracelet, it is then 54.7 millimeters, but it doesn't wear that wide across the wrist. It is that wide, it doesn't wear that wide, and I'm going to show you why. Let's take a quick look at the hardware. You can see there is a lift lock release to the clasp that is inspired by aerospace belt buckles, as this is a pilot style watch, at least in theory. Now the watch is broad across the wrist, but all in titanium with a titanium clasp and bracelet. It feels feather light, and 13 millimeters is razor thin for this type of watch. You can see it easily fits underneath a cuff because the shape of the lugs, which you'll note are rather sharply downturned and somewhat cambered. There's a little bit of an effective arc to the case, so a watch this big is usually not wearable on a wrist of 14 centimeters circumference. My wrist is 16. I think you've got plenty of clearance to go down to 14, and the timepiece is very light and in titanium, hypoallergenic. The details are incredible. A fully integrated bracelet, and you'll note that there's a handsome slash-cut V-like splay to the flanking links, but you'll also note that they have a little bit of a slope from the center line down the sides. So they're not simply flanking links, they slope inboard and they slope downward on their sides. There's a lovely satin finish that resists glare, appropriate on a pilot-style watch, and where Oris's market positioning and price points might lead you to expect pins and sleeves, here every individual removable link is sized and secured with a screw. There's plenty of gapping on the underside rather than the top. The top is flush. The underside has gaps to avoid pinching skin, pulling hair, or trapping wrist heat. You can really see the contours of this bracelet, and it is thoughtfully executed. The swing arm, single fold, is machined, and you can hear it closes with a snick and it opens with a snap. The mechanism inspires great confidence, and you can see it's also clear and clever. A unique way of opening a clasp that keeps it secure. You must positively release it. It cannot accidentally pop open. The case is a little bit like an F-117 stealth fighter, like a previous generation of stealth technology. It's all angles and facets, and like the bracelet, it's all satin finish to resist glare. There's an aerospace turbine-like slash cut to the bezel, and you can see the same is true not necessarily of the crown, but of the beveled outer face of the crown. The detail here is spectacular. There is a geometric fastening among the shear guards for the crown itself, and you can see that obtains throughout the rest of the case. Also, the bezel is sunken somewhat below the crest, that is the top of the lugs, to thin out the watch. You'll also note that same slash-cut turbine-like style on the case back. Now, the dial is open-wrought. You could see open, effectively, a window to the Calibre 115 below. It is darker. The movement is gray. I would say that the dial is more like anthracite, between black and gray. It's all media blasted, and you can see there is an internal slash-like turbine profile that acts as a rayhot or a chapter ring surrounding the dial. It's actually quite easy to read, as the hands are large and high contrast, and the scale outboard against which they are read is easy to behold and easy to recognize. There is a constant second subdial. Note there is a power reserve indicator that actually accelerates. It covers a larger distance each day to make it more obvious that you're running down. Manual wind 10-day power reserve. You can actually see there is a unique snail cam type mechanism on the caseback that powers that particular power reserve, for which Oris does have a patent. Now let's take a look at the caseback. First thing you should know about this watch, and I'll do my best to get the light in here, but the first thing you should know about this watch is that it features 100-meter water resistant, which is to say far more than the standard for pilots' watches. Most Breitling pilots' watches are 30 meters. This is 100. The movement, which features 38 joules, is a collaborative effort. It was a collaborative effort between the Technical College of Le Loc, between Manufacture Horlogère de Vallée du Jeu, and with Oris. So it was a three-way collaboration to create a 10-day power reserve movement that first debuted as the Calibre 110 back in 2014. It beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour, and as you can see, it is ornate in its skeletonization, as even the barrel is open. Easy to enjoy, easy to appreciate, and remarkably visible. It is a broad, flat, and properly sized movement designed for large cases. Oris achieving one of the marks of a traditional manufacturer manufacturer. And like the case itself, everything is a matte or satin finish. My favorite part is the barrel. Even if you're not looking at the power reserve itself, the tightness of the coiled mainspring will betray the state of wind. This is a timepiece that is impressive in every regard, and if you're a New York Yankees fan, yes, this is the watch that Aaron Boone wears. He wears his on the strap. Email tmosso at thewatchbox.com to own this 10-day power reserve titanium pilot's watch. And we're back with the Oris Big Crown ProPilot X by night. All three hands loomed.